Hey everyone! In this video we are talking about how and when you would use the formula A equals R sine theta. So a couple things to keep in mind is that, well, I guess it's just one thing, this will only work for a question in radians. If theta is given to you in degrees, you need to convert it to radians. I have a video on how to do that. If you're not sure, you can check that out. But we'll do an example like that in this video too. So, let's just talk about what that means for a sec. A means the length of a piece of the circumference of the circle. So let's say that that's A. It's the distance of this fraction or segment of the circle. R stands for radius, which is from the center to a point on the circle, and theta is the angle between the start point and the end point of your arc. When you connect the end points to the center, it makes some angle theta. So let's say that you wanted to find the arc length for a circle where the radius was equal to 5 and theta was equal to pi over 2 radians. So all we have to do is plug everything that we know into the formula. So A, we don't know. R is 5 times sine of pi over 2. Make sure that your calculator is in radians mode, or else this won't get you the right answer. So on my calculator, I'm going sine of pi divided by 2, and I get that equals 1 times 5. So the length of that arc would just be 5 and whatever your units are, like centimeters or something like that. What if it wasn't pi over 2? Let's say we had a theta that was pi over 6, just to change it up a bit. So it's still, the length of the radius is still 5 times sine of pi divided by 6, be 0.5. So 5 times 0.75 is just 2.5, so the length of that arc would be 2.5 centimeters, inches, whatever. So let's do one where the question is given to you in degrees, and I will show you what to do. So let's say we had R is equal to 15, theta is equal to 35 degrees. So to change 35 degrees into radians, we would multiply by a fraction that's equivalent to 1 over 1. We know that pi radians equals 180 degrees. So if I multiply by pi radians divided by 180 degrees, that's equivalent to multiplying by the fraction 1 over 1, which won't change the value that I'm working with, the 35 degrees. So 35 times pi divided by 180, and I'll get 0.61 radians. Okay, so A equals R sine theta. A equals R is 15 times sine of 0.61. Sine of 0.61 is 0.57 times 15 would be 8.6. So the length of an arc on this circle would be 8.6. So there's other ways that you can do these questions just by not using a formula, but just by thinking about it. On our circle we have circumference, right? Circumference equals pi times diameter. Diameter is the same as 2 times pi. So the other formula for circumference is 2 pi r. And we can think, if let's say we had a radius of 15 the circumference would be 2 times pi times 15. 2 times pi times 15 would be 94.2, let's say it was centimeters. So when we find if we know the measure of the angle in radians, that's kind of like a proportion of the circle. Radians, the degree in radians covers maybe half the circle or a third. If the angle measured half the circle, then the length of your arc would be half the circumference. If theta was a quarter of your circle, the length of that arc would be a quarter of the circumference. So let's say that I knew that theta equaled pi over 2 radians. Well, how many radians are in a whole circle? 2 pi. So pi over 2 out of the 2 pi, which is the degrees in a whole circle, would be equivalent to some fraction or some segment that we don't know yet out of the entire circumference, which was 94.2. So you could do cross multiplication. 94.2 times pi over 2 is equal to 1.48 divided by 2 pi equals x, or we could have used a again, is 23.56 centimeters. So what that tells us is if we know that we have pi over 2 of the circle is our degrees, then we know we have 23.56 centimeters is the arc length that degree is measuring. So you can use the formula if you want. If you're not good at remembering formulas, then it might be worthwhile for you to familiarize yourself with this method because it's more thinking than memorizing. So if you have any questions, just let me know and I will see you in the next video. Bye!